What is a dead giveaway of a toxic relationship? One partner always gets their way. For me, it was easier to bend over backward than to deal with the whining and complaining if I stood my ground. Easier is in quotes because it was only easier in the short term, long term made life hell. If someone is always talking crap about their partner whenever they are not together. I've seen this far too many times. It's always ended in total disaster within a few years at most. Inability to take a step back, listen and analyze the other person's point and actually come to a conclusion during a conflict. No communication and everything is a blame game with no acceptance of responsibility. When they say we need to work on our communication, but every time you bring anything up they get mad and start an argument. Break up, make up, break up, make up, rinse, and repeat. Someone who does not let you have a life outside of the relationship and gets upset when you see friends or do hobbies you like, even if you make time for them. Being yelled at, attacked for reacting to their abusive behavior. When the efforts toward the relationship are highly imbalanced, one doing the receiving, the other doing all the giving. Driving home from work you take a detour so the drive lasts longer. Edit. I see a lot of comments about this kind of relationship with an ex. I'm glad some of you are out. For the rest of you in this cycle, don't know what to tell you, but major hugs. Lack of autonomy. Things like having to vet every little thing you do with a partner, being isolated from outside relationships and not self-actualizing outside of the context of part of a couple. There is usually a power imbalance or at the very least an unhealthy level of codependency. If you find yourself feeling alone in the relationship. Constant heated verbal fights, using language where there is a clear lack of genuine respect for one another. We had a friend who would not speak until after her boyfriend spoke. One night she was over for dinner without him and mentioned how her boyfriend was passionate and sometimes put his fist through their walls. After that comment she came to help me do dishes and I was like, that's not normal. You okay? Last time I punched a wall I was a 14-year-old boy. She eventually left him, but the fact that she always demurred to him, to me, is a red flag. One person does all of the housework, cooking, chores, shopping, maintenance, childcare, yet the other person continues to complain that they don't do it right. Gaslighting. Or the idea that whatever you say can make them mad, so you start choosing every word way too carefully, end up not speaking your mind to avoid a fight. Well, my best friend died on my wedding day and my ex got annoyed and told me to stop crying. From a retrospect, that was kind of a red flag. Crying all the time. Feeling worthless. Feeling scared to say what's on your mind. If you are not lifted up by your partner, but pulled down. The constant need to bring up how well they're doing whenever they're not fighting. Only to repeat the fighting cycle. Based on personal experience, when you have to walk on eggshells because you're worried about how they might react. Being bitchy to each other at group get-together, I hate being around that. I've had one seriously toxic relationship. It was terrible. For me, what the giveaway was simply how I felt. I realized I felt extremely invalidated constantly with my partner. I was constantly confused as to why they were either so angry or how they came to whatever conclusion they came to. Every situation was turned around on me even if I came to them with a valid concern. And we'd get into arguments that literally went in circles. And it almost always ended with extremely passionate sex with zero resolution of the original issue. Rinse. Repeat. Mindfuck is what I would best describe being in a toxic relationship. You know it's bad for you yet you keep coming back for more. And you can't fully articulate why. For my family, how they could tell we were in a toxic relationship is how my partner spoke about me. I didn't pick up on it, but I was told to listen how she talks about me to others. She would lift herself up while almost simultaneously putting me down. Example. Yeah, when he's not with me he's just a normal guy, but when I show up all eyes are on us. Near the end, I noticed I would lie to friends and family about our relationship and or defend her actions just so they could like her, and so I didn't feel ashamed for staying with someone like that. I do not recommend. The sex wasn't worth it. When they treat you bad when nobody is watching. You dread seeing them. They suck all of the joy out of a room. You feel too anxious to leave. in fear that they will hurt themselves, make it extremely difficult for you. They won't let me, let you. I am not referring to times when one is using the other to get out of something. Nor am I referring to completely reasonable lets, like owning a pet that can't be sustained or an obnoxious behavior being prohibited at designated times. I'm referring to, won't let me talk to so-and-so, won't let me wear XYZ, won't let me see family, won't let me go out, that kind of let, not a completely reasonable let. The whatabouts in the comments are, honestly, frustrating me. The prompt is about toxic relationships. My let is referring to toxic relationships. So the comments being like, what about this totally healthy context, is just, grower, please use your best judgment. That's all I ask. A lot of ups and downs, extreme emotions involved, fighting but being unable or unwilling to split, trying to control the other person. Constantly being accused of cheating. I would bring up a guy friend or a coworker and all of a sudden he'd think I'm fucking them. If you find yourself putting in more effort more often into the relationship. Whenever you bring up some issues you're having, they make you feel bad for sharing how you feel. They weaponize sex. Edit: when I say weaponize sex, I mean that they use sex as a way of control, and yes, I am well aware both men and women do this. If you have to wait until your SO is in a good mood to bring up a problem you have in the relationship, get out ASAP. If his wedding vows include the phrase, keep my belly full and my balls empty. Edit: here's the article and videos, this link. Calling each other babe way too much. Getting multiple vasectomies. Throwing a Dundee at the plasma TV. Your feelings are being invalidated. You got mad at that. When you say you're upset by something that they did. Lack of friends on one side. I've known a couple people, who one of them wouldn't be allowed to have friends. Their only friends were the friends of their partner. Massive red flag. I had an abusive girlfriend many years ago. She was bipolar and it caused a lot of problems. I remember the day I realized that things were fucked. I was driving out of the work parking lot, and my phone rang. My reaction when I saw my girlfriend was calling was, oh, fuck. What am I about to get screamed at about now? And sure enough, I answer the phone and she's immediately screaming at me about some stupid shit I don't even remember. Point is, if contact from your significant other stresses you out because you're expecting to get yelled at, that's a fucking toxic relationship. If someone refuses to apologize for any reason, ever, it means they put their pride before the person they are with and the relationship. My uncle has to call the cops on his wife because their arguments get out of control, and she's constantly accusing him and my mom, her brother, of stuff. He's not allowed to have anything in her house, has to ask for permission to be in her house, and other ridiculous shit. But he won't divorce her even though he has plenty of evidence money to fuck her over in court. Extremely long Facebook posts about their relationships. Not being able to be themselves around their significant other, not letting them be around their friends without them being there. My ex once pulled out a diary that she wanted to show me to be open about her thoughts, and lay them all on the table. It was legit a full list of all the things she hated about me, written in the most deep and depressing way. About my career, lack of motivation, lack of communication, and how she doesn't find me unattractive. Her depression, that was my fault. It was the most deeply hurtful words written in a paragraph, conscribed in such a way that would not paint her as a bad person for saying, plus tears. I get I was going through a bad patch back then, as many were after COVID. But fucking hell, looking back, nobody should ever treat someone like that. End of the day, I was a 23-year-old with flaws, and was still managing to hold our relationship together. We were okay. 3 months after we break up, I get offered a promotion within my company. 5 months after that I get offered another huge promotion. I went from £12,000, £25,000, £30,000 till to £55,000 all within the last 18 months. I haven't changed one bit either. Still 25 years. Would never usually flex, but I'm proud and the proof is in the paycheck. I'm moving home, going skiing, spending time with mates, my life is good. Turns out those words were a load of shit. When they are at a restaurant together and both of them are on the phone for the entire dinner. And no, I don't mean some cute elderly couples who check their phone for messages from their grandchildren. I mean couples who actively ignore each other and both seem pissed about the fact that they are spending time together. If you constantly make compromises just to appease them and you're always the bad guy. My close friend and his girlfriend, who I was good friends with too before they started dating, decided to cut me off because his girlfriend took selfies with me at an event. Apparently, they are both worried that she is going to cheat on him with me. Lies. Deceit is the root of all evil. Deception. Hiding things. Finding out your partner was convicted of crimes and lied about it, or cheated in a horrific way and lied about it, lived a double life, etc. It causes a breakup in 100% of relationships involving untruths. Learning you've been conned or lied to for years, it's not salvageable. Puts you down or makes snide comments in front of your friends. Not being able to say sorry when they are wrong. 1. They are extremely argumentative and also hold on to grudges easily and won't let anything go without a fight. 2. They're extremely negative and critical all of the time and they never offer anything positive to a discussion. This also extends to them never being happy for you in any way. E.g., getting good grades at school or a job promotion at work. 3. Due to this constant negativity, you cannot speak to them because you know that they will respond in this way, or feel that you are walking on eggshells around them because of their negativity. 4. They are verbally abusive. They'll insult you, call you names, etc., etc. They'll also belittle you, your hobbies and interests, as well as friends and family. They'll also use offensive language to that effect, e.g., calling your, actually decent, car a piece of junk or calling your friend a loser. 6. They are prone to physical violence. 7. They lack empathy towards other people. 8. Almost every time you would spend time with them or otherwise communicate like a phone call or a text message, there would always be some kind of agenda or ulterior motive behind it, because they want something from you and not to have a normal conversation. 9. They view you as a punching bag, meaning that if they're having a bad day for whatever reason that had absolutely nothing to do with you, they'll lash out at you regardless. 10. They outright refuse to help you in absolutely any way whatsoever, even in difficult times. E.g., you are evicted and have nowhere else to stay, even if it's just one night, they'll refuse to help you. Or if they do choose to help you, they want something in return. 11. They do not respect your privacy. They'll repeatedly barge into your room, demand to know who you are phoning, etc. 12. They are never, ever wrong and refuse to ever apologize for anything. They think they can sweep their behavior under the rug and act like nothing happened. 13. They might also give you the silent treatment and ignore you for prolonged periods of time without explanation. And then out of the blue they'll start speaking to you again like nothing happened. 14. When other people criticize you, they won't defend or support you in any way. In fact, they'll likely take the side of the other person criticizing you. 15. They put conditions on their love towards you and having a relationship with you. I.e., do X or do Y, and only then will they be willing to spend time with you, etc. 16. They threaten cruel and unusual punishments for the smallest mistake or infraction. E.g., no meals for a week or locking you in your room for days like a prisoner. This might also extend to threatening to kick you out of the house and disown you completely as well for really minor things too. 17. They view you as a burden. They would avoid spending time with you if they could. You are made to feel that you should be grateful that they are allowing you to live in their home and having your other physical needs, food, clothes, etc., met when they could easily kick you out onto the street at a moment's notice. 18. They are prone to wild mood swings. One moment they'll appear to be fine and in a good mood, next moment they're angry and abusive. You never know what kind of mood they will be in on a given day. They get annoyed and angry at the smallest thing and saying the wrong thing would instantly change their mood for the worse. 19. Whenever they are harassing you with any kind of abuse, whether physical or verbal, etc., and you plainly tell them to stop, they'll ignore you and continue regardless. Either they lack the genuine empathy, or they just don't care in the slightest about the harm that they cause others. 20. When you attempt to address a legitimate grievance with them or otherwise confront them about their behavior towards you, they'll attempt to invalidate your feelings and justify their behavior towards you. 21. They accuse you of poor character or are otherwise very accusatory. E.g., when you are looking for a job, they're calling you lazy or saying that you have a bad attitude and you don't want to work. However, these accusations would very often be completely unfounded, and it's just an extension of their abuse. 22. They view parenting as simply providing the physical needs of the child, i.e., providing a roof over their head and feeding and clothing the child. But caring about the child's happiness and mental well-being. Not a concern for them. 23. They have a massive ego when it comes to parenting. They think that because they're the parent, they are in a position to boss around their children and dictate what they can or can't do, even trivial things. My house, my rules, is a common excuse here. 24. In the case of divorced parents, parental alienation. Meaning that one parent will constantly badmouth the other parent and otherwise make no secret of their hatred of them in an attempt to turn the child against said parent. DARVO. Deny. Attack. Reverse victim order. Double standards are expecting your partner to do something for you that you'd never do for them. Contemplating having kids in an effort to save or make it stronger. Mine was being hit with a Doc Marten so many times that I thought my arm was broken because I confronted her about her lying about cheating on her ex, and then her saying if I left her she'd beat the fuck out of herself and tell her uncle that was a cop that I did it. Holding something over the other person. Example. My friend's boyfriend has to reconsider the relationship, and if he wants to marry her, every time she does something wrong. She messed up a sauce for dinner once and he said this and contemplated for 3 days because, how can I marry someone who doesn't listen to my instructions? A shared Facebook account. It just screams insecurity, infidelity, and toxicity. A relationship founded upon chemicals, drugs. Not being able to hang out with friends unless your partner can also come along or suffer the consequences later. My BF doesn't let me have friends of the different gender. Being stalked at work or wherever you go. Having to check in to get approval before doing anything. Gaslighting, lying and hiding stuff. Shout out to my hooker ex-girlfriend. When a partner tells you, I don't care, that's just the way I am, in response to being called out for an extremely toxic or abusive behavior. Also, if that is their response when you express feeling hurt or upset by that behavior. I don't do that because my girlfriend, boyfriend doesn't want, like me to. Trash talking your partner to your friends. When the only thing good about the relationship is the sex. Let's admit it, toxic people are really good in bed for some reason. Resentment and eggshell walking. When they start to become more than just a passing thing, see, it happens for more than a day or so, on either side, it is really hard to come back from it. It infects every aspect of the relationship, even parts that are unrelated to the thing that originally spawned it. Keeping score. I did this last time. Or, you never do that. Leads to anger at the other person for no reason. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing and liking. Any feedback in the comments would be greatly appreciated so that we can make these videos even better. Thanks for watching Upvote Stories.